Hey there, I'm Mysca, and this is a Black Ops 4 Blackout guide on making decisions that win you games with concrete examples of what could be happening in game and how you go about these different decisions. This is kind of a part 2. In part 1 we went over the very start of the game, looking at the map, deciding where to drop, how to sort of go about that in particular, how to loot that spot and win those first few fights, what loot is important, and of course your general plan to approaching the start of the game. This part will be focused on combat and especially around my decision making, and hopefully I can give you some insights into how I play the game, mostly based on a lot of experience in other battle royale games that I've now adapted to this game. Let's get started straight away. We're gonna have a lot of concrete examples and we're gonna get straight into this game that I actually played a while ago and look at the chain of decisions that I made. So starting off here, we have, about a mid-game sort of situation where I'm looking at the circle and I realized that I would have to cross this bit of water right here. So this is a very quick but important decision. You will have to cross water occasionally for sure with some of the circles, and when you do that, it's a lot of the time a good idea to make this decision early. The more time you take to make this decision, the more of a chance there will be that an enemy sets up on the other side, ready for you to come up on the shore. It's kind of what I actually end up doing in a way. But yeah, making this decision early is important. Just a very quick but important decision there. Alright, so here's the situation that could have worked out poorly for me. I run up to this spot. I want in this next circle right here. It's got a good overview of the edge here, looking over that water as well, and it's on a high ground. However, this guy underneath me here comes up and I don't really expect it, and he has level 3 armor on. Very good armor, very strong armor, and I know that he has a good chance at winning this fight if we were on equal footing with our positions here. But my advantage is that I am above him, so instead of throwing this away and trying to go down there to fight him, I just keep my advantage and see if he wants to go for me instead. I don't know the tunnel below me too well either, so this is a good example in that way. A lot of you probably don't know every single part of the map that well, just like me, so I just let him decide if he wants to continue this fight instead of chasing a kill that I don't need and that could definitely get me killed instead. So waiting this out and staying calm instead of making noise gives me the edge in the next fight here actually. I figure we'll have some close quarter fights soon and switch my silencer to not give my position away to a potential third party in a fight. And I hear this guy running past. I have Dead Silence on as the only perk I actually managed to get this game, at least up to this point. So I used that too whilst keeping an eye on this guy, which makes sneaking up on him pretty easy. And this really makes this kill a kill that I should always get. I have info on him, I have a second advantage with little to no sound when I move. So when the fight actually starts here, you can also see me squeezing some extra value out of Dead Silence by flanking him and running around like this. And this is a very early flank and a decision I make very quickly. And this is just because I gave him some info by shooting from behind but not getting the kill, right? So if I can take away that info from him by doing an early flank, he won't have my position and he won't hear me either due to my perk. So I can land a very easy kill here by getting some value out of the perk I have and quickly making these decisions. For the loot here, you can see me stop early since I hear some shots and my inventory is actually full as well. So I just go for a quick run away in case I was getting scoped or in case those shots were actually near me. I figured that I'll want some perks and healing though, and also ammo because I'm kind of low on that on one of my guns. And on that corpse there is all of that, and I head back quickly. But this was a super risky loot run, but it pays off later into the game. Just wanted to highlight it because it is actually ridiculously risky in the way that it's just out in the open and I'm very prone to get shot since I want so much stuff on this corpse. But it was pretty important to the game. So it's fun to take risk if you actually really account for what that could result in. But I run away at first because I know how risky that is. Anyway, just wanted to highlight that. But okay, now we are deep in the late game, and the number one piece of info you want in late game is gunshots. When you hear gunshots, it's not an, oh, someone is shooting, I should hide and figure out where they are type of situation. If someone shoots, especially near you at all, that is your signal to go for a kill. The earlier you go, the less they will expect you, and as you can see, I just find this guy looting and I know it'll be another easy kill, and that is just based on hearing some gunshots in a direction and not hesitating to engage in that fight. Well, it's not even much of a fight because I make the decision so early that he's just not ready at all. Coming up here, we have some scouting being interrupted by a person walking by as well. This right here is why I think crouching and moving slowly is so important because of footsteps in this game. They're very loud. Dead Silence, which makes all of your footsteps silent, and when you run it's, I think, somewhat silent, not completely silent though. And then Skulker, a perk that makes you move faster when you're crouched, are both very strong in my opinion at least. So this guy did kind of expect someone to, apparently, but had just made too much noise, so yet another kill by just moving slowly, sticking to my plan of how I should move through the circle, and making use of the info I have. Now, this is risky here, and I know I'm gonna have to go for a really bad run in not too long. Not only that, but it's also downhill with very little cover, but there's also water in front, so it's pretty bad, and I use one of my precious trauma packs for this. I have 2 left, I believe, and I don't want to get greedy this late at all. This will give me another 50 HP on top of the normal 150, so 200 total. I could save it for more value later on, but 50 extra HP is definitely worth it here. If you find yourself in this situation, even if you might just have 1 trauma kit, I'd say it's worth it to use it, so you have a better chance at a dangerous run like this one. Okay, so we're getting into the very end game here, and this is when it really starts kicking off, and I know that I'm probably in one of the worst spots to sit in right here, so I am super scared of getting spotted right now, and I try to get some info by waiting on the other side of the water and listening to gunshots and looking around for people, but I really don't get much. I get swimming and use my only remaining perk as I am swimming to make sure I'm ready to shoot when I am out of the water, something that is pretty cool. You can heal and use perks when moving in this game if you just use the quick equip stuff. And I also make sure I got the right equipment on my button there. This is pretty important actually, as the equipment you want is basically just dependent on your surroundings. If you're indoors, then a concussive or 9-bang grenade is useful. Outside with little cover, you want a deployable barrier, and if you're in the woods with people behind trees, then molotovs or grenades are great to force people out of cover. Just that sort of thing. Make sure you have the right thing equipped there so you can just quickly hit the button. It definitely is the difference between life and death a lot of the time. I'm sure this will go for the PC version as well. Either way, I finally get to this stable and I figured out that there wasn't anyone in it, but I check around real quick just to make sure. I just figured this because of some of the gunshots nearby, and there were only 6 people alive. So I'm going into this thinking this stable is clear. I want this high ground here because it's not a spot that someone will be aiming at first when they walk into the stables, and I also get super lucky and find level 3 armor up there just by pure chance. But I hear someone this time around, and this person might not have heard me due to my perk. But they're actually pretty careful and are playing this pretty well so far, and they check the stable window, which is a pretty safe peek for them, and they might not even have seen me here, but I see them and I also mess up my shots. And this is key right here. Just like in the earlier fight here, I've shot and given the enemy some info, and my position is known to them, so I move straight away without hesitation, just away from where I was sitting, because even if he hears me move a lot, it's much harder to predict a new spot for him here, and he won't really know where exactly I am at least. And I hear him move around the outer bit and conclude that he has 2 options here. Either he will come running out with the circle with the same opening here in the stable, or he will be at the end of the stable ready to kill me. He's not close here near the circle, I waited out, so at that point I basically know where he is and can pick up the kill without any real issues. Alright, finally we go to the top 3 situation here, and these are pretty straightforward in a way, but are just all about getting value from the stuff you have left in your inventory, honestly. Most of the top 3 or top 4, top 5 situations that I've been in so far come down to this all the time, and I know that I have dumpster tier aim on console because I play on PC, so my way of winning this game has to kind of come down to getting a good stun off on someone, or something along those lines that has to do with my equipment and just what I have to use. So this guy further away spots me from pretty far actually, and since I am in this decline here down to the water, I don't hesitate to throw up the barrier for some wider cover, and this is likely to make any other enemy think that I'm directly behind the barrier too. So I make use of this by taking a wider angle here, so the first guy I saw can't see me from the hillside, and then I just look for that other last person that I don't know anything about. I have info on one of the 2 and no need to rush that kill, so that other person and getting info on where they are is priority. If I know where they are, then I can actually start making a decision based on that rather than betting on the other person not being nearby. So I run down far down the side here to make sure that I've moved a lot from my previous spot, but know that this other person is probably gonna have an advantage by being able to figure out that this is the only spot I could have moved to. But regardless, it seems like a good decision to me. I hear the other guy getting killed as well, so at this point I know that it's just me and that guy that was sitting on the hill based on where those gunshots were coming from. And as expected, he does figure out where I am here, as you can see in just a second. But I kind of just stay calm and stick to the plan of making use of my equipment and have this stun ready, so this guy is just stunned out of existence with these 9 banks. And you can see for yourself just what happens.
Major instability detected. Safe zone evac orders are in effect.
Yes!
Good game, man. Damn.
Oh,
Oh, shit.
easy win. Alright, pretty straightforward stuff really. A lot of the things in this video might seem a little bit obvious, but I wanted to highlight and show this game in particular because this game had so much of the decision making that you have to make in this game. Not everything, you can never really include absolutely every scenario, but a lot of the decisions you have to make on the regular. Anyway, that is basically all for this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it and drop any comment down below with what I could improve on or what you'd like to see more on in future videos. I will definitely have a video about perks, weapons and other things just separated up nicely so you have all that info coming up in not too long. That's all for now. Please do subscribe if you want more Blackout content. Right, that's everything. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I'll see you next time.